The day Marin learned that a blouse could become a weapon was the day human resources tried to measure her hemline with a ruler that did not exist. At 8:12 a.m., she was on her headset, voice warm as cocoa, calming a customer who sounded like he had been raised by gravel. 12 years in customer service had taught her a truth. People did not call because they were happy. They called because something had gone wrong, and they wanted someone to blame. Marin was 35, sharp-minded, and disciplined enough to smile while swallowing insults. She knew product codes, policy exceptions, and the tiny loopholes that kept customers from walking away. Her supervisors called her steady, which was corporate language for, she fixes what everyone else breaks. Her clothes were her quiet rebellion. Nothing vulgar, nothing scandalous, only bright blazers, fitted skirts, and earrings that winked when she turned her head. In a building where the walls were beige, Marin refused to fade. That refusal offended Petra Griggs. Petra managed human resources with the zeal of a substitute teacher who believed joy was contraband. She was tall, stiff, and always smelled like peppermint gum and judgment. People called her Peppermint Petra when she could not hear them. The harassment began a week after the company's anniversary party. The party tried too hard: balloons in corporate colors, a fun committee slideshow, karaoke that made adults betray themselves. Marin wore a crimson dress with a black blazer, the kind of outfit that made her feel unbreakable. Petra's boyfriend, Dean Rusk, arrived late with a crooked tie and an apologetic smile. Petra left him near the snack table while she marched off to correct napkins. Dean lingered, looking lost. When Marin reached for a plate, she caught him looking at her. Not a leer. More like a person realizing color existed outside beige. Their eyes met. He blushed. She lifted her cup in a mild salute. He laughed, surprised and bright. That was all. One harmless moment. Petra saw it. Now, in the fluorescent morning light, Petra marched toward Marin's desk, as if she had been summoned by the sight of joy itself. "Marin Vale," Petra said, loud enough for 3 rows to hear. "We need to talk about your presentation." Marin muted her headset. "My presentation is solving a customer's problem." Petra's smile did not reach her eyes. "Your outfit. Again. That skirt is too attention-seeking." Marin glanced down. Navy, knee-length, white blouse, logo blazer. "It is the same as what Lila wore yesterday." Petra's gaze snapped toward Lila, who suddenly found her monitor fascinating. "This is not about Lila." Petra leaned in. "You look like you are trying to seduce the workplace." Marin blinked. "I am trying to seduce the call queue. It is a niche market." A few snorts escaped nearby. Petra's nostrils flared. "Do not be cute. Your clothes are distracting. Your lipstick is loud." Marin kept her voice calm. "My retention numbers are louder." Petra straightened. "This is a formal warning. I will be watching you." Marin unmuted her headset and returned to her customer with a smile Petra could not police. But inside, something colder than politeness settled into place. If Petra wanted a war over fabric, Marin would give her one. Not with tears, with evidence. Because customer service teaches you how to listen and how to remember every word someone says when they think nobody important is paying attention. Marin looked up at the security camera above the aisle, then back at Petra's retreating shoulders. By lunch, Petra would make her first real mistake. Petra did not watch Marin the way a manager watched performance. Petra watched her the way a cat watched a bird, offended that the bird insisted on singing. By 9:30, an email landed in Marin's inbox. Dress code reminder. The message was not a reminder. It was a personal letter dressed in corporate clothes. "Your appearance has been noted as unprofessional," Petra wrote. "Repeated violations may result in corrective action." Marin opened the employee handbook Petra loved to quote like scripture. The dress code section was brief: clean, neat, no offensive graphics, no unsafe footwear. Marin's outfit checked every box. She saved the email in a folder named Petra. Sometimes revenge began with a simple filing system. The next warning came before lunch. Petra drifted past Marin's desk and spoke with careful volume. You know, Petra said, some people use their bodies to climb the ladder. Marin did not look up. I use my brain. It is less expensive. Petra's lips pinched. You parade around like an office siren. I answer phones, Marin replied. If I am a siren, I tell sailors their package is delayed. A stifled laugh rose nearby. Petra pivoted away, offended by humor. That afternoon, Petra called Marin into a glass meeting room with no blinds, the kind built for visibility and humiliation. Petra placed a printed photo on the table, a screenshot from the anniversary party. Marin stood near the snack table, her crimson dress bright. Dean stood 2 steps away, holding a plate. Petra tapped the paper. This is you, flaunting. Marin leaned in. This is me, existing near Chips. Petra's voice dropped. My boyfriend says you flirted with him. Your boyfriend laughed at a joke, Marin said. That is not a crime. It is when it is aimed at you, Petra snapped, then forced a smile that looked stapled on. Going forward, you will comply with my dress expectations. Neutral colors, looser cuts, no bright lipstick. Marin folded her hands. Those are not company expectations. Those are Petra expectations. Petra's cheeks flushed. I can make your life very difficult. I believe you, Marin said, but difficulty is not the same as victory. Marin left the room and went straight to Nico Tran in IT, a quiet man with gentle eyes and a talent for remembering what people tried to erase. Nico listened, then nodded. Cameras cover hallways, not sound. But emails are forever. Meeting invites are forever. Chat logs are forever. Good, Marin said. Then I will make her write every ugly thought in 12-point font. Nico slid a small notebook across the desk. Dates, times, witnesses. People forget. Paper does not. Marin tucked the notebook into her bag like a blade. At noon, she took her lunch to the break room, hoping for silence. Petra entered instead, checked the room, and smiled when she saw Marin. Enjoying your break? Petra asked. I am enjoying the concept of not hearing your voice for 30 minutes, Marin said. Petra's smile sharpened. Careful, that attitude is why you are where you are. Where I am is the top performer on the floor, Marin replied. Petra leaned closer. And still replaceable. The break room door opened behind Petra. A man stepped in carrying a paper bag that smelled like warm bread. Dean Rusk froze when he saw Petra looming over Marin's table. His eyes flicked to Marin's face, then to Petra's expression. Hey, he said carefully. I brought lunch. Petra straightened, sweet as poison. Perfect timing. We were just discussing professionalism. Dean looked at Marin as if the word had suddenly changed meaning. Marin offered him a calm nod. Dean's grip tightened on the bag. And Petra, for the first time, realized her audience had changed. Dean did not sit. He hovered beside Petra like a man trying to decide whether he was in a break room or a courtroom. Petra opened the bag and narrated its contents as if lunch needed legal documentation. Turkey wrap, kale salad, dressing on the side. Marin watched Dean's face. His smile was polite, but it had cracks. He kept glancing at Marin as if he wanted to ask a question and was afraid of the answer. Petra angled her body to block his view. Marin, you may return to your desk. Lunch is private. Marin stood, lifting her container. Of course, privacy is important when you are rewriting reality. Petra's eyes flashed. Excuse me? Marin turned to Dean. Thank you for bringing food. It is the nicest thing that entered this room today. Dean startled, then gave a small laugh. You are welcome. Petra grabbed his arm. Dean, sit. Do not encourage her. Marin left without rushing. She walked with the steady pace of a woman who knew cameras loved calm. Back at her desk, a chat message popped up from Dean's account. Dean, are you okay? Marin, professionally fine, personally annoyed. Dean. Petra said you were harassing her. Marin. You saw her cornering me. Dean. I did. Marin. Then trust your eyes. A pause. Dean. Can we talk after work? Somewhere not fluorescent? Revenge did not require romance, but revenge sometimes benefited from witnesses. Marin. Coffee cart across the street. 5:30. The afternoon was a parade of petty attacks. Petra sent another email demanding muted tones. Petra copied Marin's supervisor on a note about attitude. Petra complimented another woman's identical skirt, then turned to Marin and said, "See? Appropriate." The message was clear. The clothing was not the problem. Marin was. Marin saved everything. She replied to each email with the same calm line. Please cite the specific policy section that applies. Petra never did. Petra only escalated. At 4:45, Marin requested a formal meeting to clarify dress code expectations. She invited Petra, her supervisor Jessa Holt, and Nico Tran from IT. She put the request in writing because paper did not blink. Petra accepted within 2 minutes. At 5:30, Marin stood by the coffee cart, winter air stinging her cheeks. Dean arrived looking nervous, hands stuffed in his pockets. I am sorry, he said. I did not realize she was doing this. She does it politely, Marin replied. Cruelty with a smile is still cruelty. Dean swallowed. She has been angry since the party. Marin raised an eyebrow. Because you looked at me? He flushed. I looked because you looked happy. Petra was scolding someone about napkins. You laughed. It felt like breathing. Marin let that land. You do not have to explain your eyes. You do have to decide what kind of person you are dating. He stared into his coffee. What are you going to do? I am going to let her overstep, Marin said. Then I am going to hold up a mirror she cannot argue with. And me? Dean asked. You are going to be honest, Marin said. If you can. Dean nodded once, tight and determined. As Marin turned to leave, her phone buzzed with a calendar update for tomorrow's meeting. Subject: Dress Code Clarification Meeting. Attendees: Petra Griggs, Marin Vale, Jessa Holt, Nico Tran. And one more name added at the bottom: Dean Rusk. Petra had invited her boyfriend to the meeting. Marin's grin widened, wicked and relieved. Petra did not know it yet, but she had delivered Marin a witness on a silver tray. The next morning, Marin wore a charcoal dress and a simple blazer, as neutral as a thundercloud. If Petra wanted muted tones, Marin would give her muted tones while Petra screamed in full color. At 10 a.m., they gathered in Conference Room B. Petra arrived with a binder thick enough to qualify as a personality. Jessa Holt brought coffee and visible fatigue. Nico opened his laptop to a document titled, Meeting Notes. Dean arrived last, eyes uneasy. Petra's smile widened when she saw him. Dean is here for support, she announced. Marin set a thin folder on the table. Petra brought volume. Marin brought accuracy. Petra began, voice sweet and sharp. This meeting is to address ongoing violations of our professional dress expectations. Marin lifted a hand. Please cite the policy section. I asked 3 times by email. Petra's mouth tightened. Professionalism is not a paragraph. It is a standard. Jessa sighed. Petra, you need specifics. Petra flipped pages with theatrical irritation. Fine. The General Conduct Clause. Nico typed. The keys sounded like tiny handcuffs. Marin leaned forward. General conduct covers harassment and hostile workplace behavior. It does apply. She slid a printed copy of the dress code across the table, highlights glowing like warning lights. Now here are your emails demanding neutral colors and looser cuts. Those demands are not in the policy. Petra gave a brittle laugh. You are acting like a lawyer. Customer service, Marin replied. We live on receipts. Dean's gaze flicked to Petra, then back to Marin. He looked like a man watching a story he did not consent to enter. Petra leaned toward Marin. The truth is, you dress for attention. You like men looking at you. Jessa's head snapped up. Petra. Marin kept her voice even. Are you saying I am being disciplined because of men looking at me? Petra's eyes flicked to Dean. It was quick, but it was enough. Petra recovered by doubling down. You are provocative, cheap, like you want to steal what belongs to other women. The room went still. Nico kept typing. Marin turned to Jessa. That is name-calling about my body. Again. I have dates, times, and witnesses. Would you like them now or in the formal complaint? Jessa stared at Petra like she had just discovered mold in the break room. You cannot speak to employees like this. Petra straightened. I can. I am human resources. Dean finally spoke, voice low. No, you cannot. Petra whipped toward him. Dean, do not embarrass me. He did not look away. You are embarrassing yourself. For a second, Petra forgot corporate language existed. You are only saying that because she tempted you. Marin smiled, slow and dangerous. Please add that to the notes. Jessa pushed her chair back. This is done. Petra, you are stepping out. Petra stood so fast her binder slapped the table. You cannot do this. Jessa's voice went flat. Watch me. Petra stormed out. Through the glass, heads turned, beige walls, bright drama. 15 minutes later, Jessa returned with the compliance director, Ria Sato, calm as stone. Ria read the notes, scanned the emails, and asked Marin one question. Are you willing to present this formally? Marin nodded. Yes. Ria glanced toward the open office. Then we handle it publicly. There is an all-hands at 3 o'clock. Petra will not be allowed to spin this. At 2:59, the company filed into the auditorium, and the video call overflowed. Marin stood backstage, palms steady, folder light in her hands. Petra sat in the front row, smiling like a shark. Ria stepped to the microphone. Today, we are addressing a misuse of authority. Petra's smile faltered, and Marin stepped into the light. The auditorium lights made everyone look a little guilty, which was fitting. Marin walked onto the stage beside Compliance Director Ria Sato and faced a sea of faces that had learned to mind their own business for survival. Petra sat in the front row with her legs crossed and her smile sharpened, as if confidence alone could rewrite facts. Ria spoke first. We are here because authority was used as a weapon. This company will not treat professionalism as a costume we force on certain people while ignoring others. Marin stepped forward and held up a single page. On December 3rd, I received an email stating my appearance was unprofessional, with no policy citation. She clicked the remote. Petra's email filled the screen, time-stamped. On December 5th, I was told to wear neutral colors, looser cuts, and less lipstick. That is not in our dress code. On December 7th, I was called an office siren. On December 9th, I was called cheap. Murmurs rolled through the room. Heads turned toward Petra. Petra's smile twitched. Marin clicked again. The dress code section appeared with highlights. Then a slide of 3 employees in similar skirts and blazers, faces blurred, proving the obvious. I was singled out, Marin said. Not corrected. Petra sprang up. This is a vendetta. She flirted with my boyfriend. She has been trying to seduce people for years. Ria lifted a hand. Petra Griggs, sit. Petra did not sit. Look at how she dresses. She makes a spectacle. Marin met her gaze. Thank you for repeating the accusation in front of the whole company. It saves us time. A few people laughed, startled at their own bravery. Ria turned to the screen. We reviewed notes from yesterday's meeting, captured in real time. Petra stated discipline was warranted because men look, and because Marin tempted her partner. That is harassment and discrimination. It is not policy. Petra's face went pale, then red. I am HR. Ria's voice stayed calm. Effective immediately, you are removed from supervisory duties pending final review. You will meet with legal and compliance after this session. The room exhaled as if someone had cracked a window. Dean stood near the aisle, not beside Petra. When Petra looked around for him, he did not move. Afterward, people approached Marin in hesitant waves. Some apologized for staying silent. Some thanked her, like she had fixed a problem they all hated, but pretended did not exist. Dean caught Marin near the exit. "I am leaving her," he said. "I should have done it earlier." Marin studied him. "You brought her lunch one time and accidentally delivered yourself to the wrong side of the story." He let out a shaky laugh. "That was not the plan." "Plans are overrated," Marin said. "Evidence is better." He hesitated. "Can I take you to dinner? Not as revenge, as honesty." Marin considered the power in choosing yes. Petra had tried to shrink her into beige. Marin refused to let her next decision be another reaction to Petra's jealousy. "I will go," Marin said. "But understand something. I do not steal men. Men leave places that poison them." Dean nodded. "I want to leave." "Good," Marin replied. "Then walk." Outside, Marin's phone buzzed with an email from Ria. Subject: Next steps. Inside was a promotion offer. Lead customer advocate, plus a note that read, "Your integrity changed our culture today." Marin smiled, tasting the sweetest kind of revenge. Not the kind that burned down the building, the kind that rebuilt it with her name on the door. And somewhere behind them, Petra Griggs was learning what it felt like to be judged by rules she could not rewrite.